Hello, book lovers. I'm Peg, and welcome to my channel. I'm just going to make a short video today to kind of get back in the swing of things, tell you about a little reading project I've been working on this week. And I'm glad to be back. After I got back from my trip last weekend, I caught a horrible cold, which I'm sure you can hear. I am better now, but actually, it was the kind of cold where you feel like you have to stay in bed and read and have food, call out for food, but you can still read. So it wasn't, well, that bad, actually. I was at a kind of a crossways point in my TBR list in that I had finished all the Booker books. I incidentally didn't get back to tell you my choice. My choice didn't win, but I'm real pleased with the choice that did win. Anyway, so I'd finished those, and next week I plan to start on some of the lists for the Canadian prizes. There's 2 Canadian literary prizes that will be coming up that I'll be talking about. So this week I sort of had an empty space on my TBR. So it just happened that last weekend, Steve Donoghue, my favorite recommender, had a great video called, I think, The Apple Tag, in which he recommended a lot of novels, which he doesn't usually do. And I'm putting a link at that at the bottom so you can share all those. But what I decided to do is all this week, I'm just going to read his recommendations. He has a way of giving recommendations that I just really like. And so I thought, this will be good. I'm not in the mood to have any bails. I just want to read good stuff this week while I'm getting over my cold. And it's worked out that way. Just one note, though. In the video after that, he made some comment that because Nonfiction November or something is coming up, he's not going to talk about fiction or what he calls made-up stories for a while. Isn't that the dumbest thing you've ever heard? I wrote in the comments right away, that's a bad idea. So if you feel that way too, that you want to hear him talk about fiction, feel free to write it in the comments too, and maybe we can convince him. Though I kind of like to hear him talk about nonfiction too, but we all know what my favorite is. Anyway, speaking of the Booker, I read an article just this morning in the Paris Review, which I'm going to put a link to the bottom, that has the winner of the Booker, George Saunders, interviewing one of the, well, I won't say losers, you're not losers, but John McGregor, whose book Reservoir 13 was on the long list. It did not make the short list. And Saunders professes his appreciation for John's work and seems to like it a lot, which is real interesting that the winner would be interviewing the non-winner. I do think it was done before the Booker was announced, but still, it makes for a very interesting read. Okay, I've read already several books from Steve's list, and I've put the link at the bottom, but I'm just going to talk about one today while my voice holds out, and it is The World of Tomorrow by Brendan Matthews. This was just a fun book. It takes place in 1939 during one week in New York City. There are 2 brothers from Ireland that are coming. It starts out with them on the ship coming to New York City. They're kind of in trouble with the IRA. They've stolen some money, but they're quite the characters. In fact, the whole book is just filled with big characters and big events. It's just fun. It was a perfect thing for me to read for the first couple of days of my cold when I didn't feel really like thinking a lot. I just wanted to be entertained, and it did a great business of it. One of the main things in this is it's during this time the World's Fair in New York City takes place, and the front and the back both have some real interesting color maps drawn of where the World's Fair was located over in Flushing, New York. And the back has even a different one. And that was fun. And it just gave so much of the atmosphere of New York during those days. It was, I think, after the U.S. was coming out of the Depression, before they were in the Second World War, and it gave great descriptions of the jazz clubs and Hell's Kitchen and all the places that were so popular then. And it was just, as I said, a really fun read. So thanks, Steve, for that recommendation. And I'll be back with some more of his recommendations later. Actually, the one I'm going to talk about tomorrow I've already read, but it is going to involve a little bit more thinking and rereading before I'm ready to talk about it. So I'll be back then. Okay, thanks and bye.